The last time Merab Dvalishvili and Sean O'Malley stepped into the octagon together, the world was watching two opposite forces collide. Okay, not really. The lights were pretty bright and the stakes were high, but the pay-per-view was alright. Still, it was one of the most important bantamweight fights in history.
Championship on the line. Superstardom for O'Malley if he can win this fight this weekend.
Now, 10 events later, they're running it back. The lights are dim, the card feels thrown together, and this isn't the fight we asked for, but it's the one we're getting.
I just would not have even made the announcement on April Fool's Day. Is it really going to be Sean versus Merab?
And I've got a duty here. Hype it up and shit on it at the same time. At UFC 316, O'Malley, after nearly a year on the sidelines, walks into another gift-wrapped title shot, and standing in his way is the machine himself, Merab Dvalishvili, one of the most dominant and boring champion of all time. These two usually go hand in hand together. In the co-main event, Julianna Peña, possibly the loudest champ in women's MMA history, defends her belt against Kayla Harrison, the division's maybe savior, maybe bust. I don't know for sure. It's a weird card, a messy one, but chaos has a funny way of making MMA matter again, and it's always there.
Thank you to the fighting business. Absolutely amazing.
One of my favorite new channels going right now.
Julianna Peña versus Kayla Harrison. Good lord, has the women's bantamweight division been a wasteland ever since Amanda Nunes retired. For those of you who stopped watching when Nunes left, here's a quick recap. Maria Bueno Silva, some juiced-up Brazilian chick, fought Raquel Pennington at UFC 297, and when Pennington won the decision, Julianna Peña just reappeared from the shadows 2 years after her last fight. In October 2024, at UFC 307, Julianna recaptured the bantamweight title via what many believe was a loss, but hey, a win's a win. After a 2.5-year layoff, the women's bantamweight champion was now, and again, 12-5 Julianna Peña. I mean, yeah, that is where we're at. Champion by robbery, but at least she's kinda cute. Exactly one media member scored a fight for Peña, so I don't know what the hell the judges were watching, but that is the top fighter at women's bantamweight, a possible paper champion who has barely fought, and her entire career is built around a once-in-a-blue-moon upset and a robbery. What she does have, though, is the single most important attribute in MMA.
Raquel has not been a good representation of the women's bantamweight division. She has not promoted. She has said no to embedded, and not being that big face that wants to promote and be that great representation of women's MMA. I want to be that person. That's my role, and I can do it better. And that's why I believe that I'm going to be able to seal the deal on Saturday night and get that gold again.
Listen. Everything that I just brought to you really doesn't mean much, especially in women's MMA. The belt, the records, the layoffs, the skill set, blah, blah, blah. That shit don't matter. Do you know what matters most in MMA promotion? What actually makes you care for fights? It's the story. The story is what builds everything. The story is what will make you watch two lions fight for dominance, mating rights, and survival, or two homeless dudes fight over the last beer can. The UFC has been missing this very obvious point recently, and I covered this matter extensively in one of my recent videos titled, "The UFC has lost its soul." You should go watch the full thing if you haven't, but the simple question is, why should I care? And although Julianna Peña might have a very mid record, a very mid career, a very mid fighting skill set, she has the most important attribute in check. She knows how to build a story.
It's easy to be 17-1 when you're fighting frickin' tomato cans. You cannot compare Khabib and Amanda Nunes together. You can't even put them in the same sentence. Apples and garlic, that's a comparison that you just made. Turn the best striker in this division into a panic wrestler.
Gotta talk about a big mouth. She's got a big name and she's coming in with those 2 gold medals. She has to beat me. She has to knock me out. She has to submit me. That's her only chance to victory. Otherwise, she's gonna what, lay on me for 25 minutes?
Kayla Harrison, for some time at least, was someone to look forward to at 135. She was quite literally built different, and when she destroyed Holly Holm at UFC 300, the division finally got an actual fearsome contender. That said, her performance against Caitlin Vieira at UFC 307 was kinda meh, and that's been the case with Harrison for her whole MMA career. She looks like she would murder everyone, and while she has done that occasionally, case in point UFC 300, she's also gone to decisions and put out lackluster performances against fighters she was supposed to destroy. I guess it depends on how her weight cut has gone. If she didn't pass out like 5 times during the process, then she's in relatively good condition. Kayla Harrison's path to victory is no mystery. She's a two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, and her clinch game is a nightmare. If she closes the distance, gets underhook, and dumps Peña to the mat, it's going to be a long night for the champ. She doesn't even need submissions, just position and pain. But say what you want about Peña, she does not stop moving or fighting. Her scrambles are chaotic, her cardio is nasty, and she has a weirdly durable, stubborn style that makes her hard to keep down. You can dominate her for 3 rounds, and she'll still be in your face in the 4th, bleeding and going full Nate Diaz mode. On the feet, honestly, it's ugly on both sides. Peña's striking is weird, a lot of loopy punches and lots of volume. She's hittable, but she also doesn't stop hitting back. Kayla's stand-up has gotten better, but she still looks uncomfortable when she can't shoot. If this stays standing, it's chaos. If it hits the mats, Peña will need all her toughness to survive, while Kayla will need to make every punch count. So, we've got a paper champ who refuses to go away, and a destroyer who sometimes forget to destroy. It's a weird fight, a messy one, but it might actually save the division. If Kayla shows up like she did at UFC 300, the title probably changes. But if she hesitates, if the weight cut doesn't go as planned, or if Peña just refuses to die like she always does, then we've got a war on our hands. Either way, bantamweight might finally matter again, and Amanda Nunes will be watching closely.
Amanda Nunes is sitting right there. You've said that you believe she retired a bit early. Do you think she fights again?
You just said yes.
Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Like him or not, Merab Dvalishvili, the current bantamweight champion, has probably entered GOAT status at 135 pounds, even with just one title defense. Dominic Cruz was great, but what Merab has achieved over the past couple of years has welcomed him into the conversation.
Jan, O'Malley, Cejudo, Umar, Marias, Aldo. He's fought everybody. He's beat everybody in this division. Merab is the bantamweight GOAT, man, at least in my eyes.
This began with the Piotr Jan fight. We knew he was good, even great before that, but what he did to Jan was almost spooky. He didn't finish the fight, but Jan looked finished by the end anyway. Same case with Henry Cejudo. He looked good for half the first round, but when Merab took over, Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist, almost looked scared of wrestling. Despite a massive streak and big wins over the top guys, Merab waited almost too nicely because his buddy Aljo was the champion.
And Merab is clear that he will not fight Aljamain Sterling and he'll wait until Aljo moves up. So what do you do with him, right?
You can still be friends and want what your friend has, you know what I mean? It would be a really bad idea for Merab to go down that path.
As much as Dana and all of us crapped on him, you gotta admire the selflessness. Once Aljo was no longer champion, Merab was free to claim his rightful place as the best bantamweight in the world, signified by the belt, and he had no problem taking it from Sean O'Malley. UFC 306 was probably built for the coronation of Sean O'Malley as a star, but the defining visuals was this. Well, that and Merab being crowned champion. This was probably code red at UFC headquarters because right after he won the belt, Dana White was adamant about scheduling Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov, no matter what the champion had to say.
Umar don't deserve to fight me. Sean O'Malley deserves to fight me, and I'm gonna fight to rematch him, okay? He deserved, and after, Umar has to prove, and I will fight him.
Is that the plan to do that fight? Like, is that the next fight you want at bantamweight, Merab versus Umar?
Absolutely.
They clearly wanted to get the belt off Merab as soon as possible, and Umar was the best candidate. He opened up as the favorite, despite one ranked win in his career, but look at the stats that actually mattered. He was undefeated, and his last name was Nurmagomedov. And there was just no way that Merab was going to Merab an undefeated Nurmagomedov.
He doesn't feel like Umar deserved the title fight.
Sure.
Hey, Umar won 6 in a row.
Yeah. Do you pull Umar? When you're talking about Umar won 6, that's 6 in the UFC. He won 16 over.
Yeah, he won 6 in the UFC.
If you had doubts about Merab being in bantamweight GOAT discussions, this performance against Umar should have put those to rest. Despite apparently ducking Umar before, Merab fought him with the same grit, the same tenacity, and with the same disrespect he had shown to everyone else. Umar was able to match Merab early on and even got the best of him, but as we've learned time and time again, it doesn't matter if you are more skilled or athletic than him. He will treat you with utter disrespect and give you no room to breathe or a second to think. Your only thought will be, this guy is not human. So behold the machine, the bantamweight champion and now widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters the division has ever seen. He has gone through them all, the likes of Petr Yan to Henry Cejudo to Umar Nurmagomedov, and he has broken them all. So it's only right that after going through such a murderous row, Merab is given what he deserves, an easy money fight. That's literally the only explanation I have for this. Like, why is O'Malley being treated like he's Conor McGregor or something? Dude is selling 300,000 pay-per-view buys, but we're acting like he's the UFC's biggest cash cow.
You guys want to know what Sean O'Malley's buys did at pay-per-view? Anywhere between 300,000 to 350. That's it. Does he have the following through Instagram? 100%. But my question is can he sell pay-per-views?
Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan 2. Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho 2. Like, there was so many fun matchups for Sean, but instead he's thrown and pushed into a rematch he does not deserve, and one that literally nobody asked for. Did I tell you I made a video about how the UFC lost its soul? Do you need more evidence?
Sean, some people say you're getting something called Dana White privilege, that you're getting a quick rematch without really proving yourself as a champ. What do you think about that?
Thanks, Dana.
I have nothing to add for context here. The last time we saw him, he lost his belt to Merab at UFC Noche, and he has done fuck all since. Sean has been sitting on the sidelines while other bantamweights such as Yan, Sandhagen, and even the champion himself, Merab, have been fighting. And now, he's coming back and getting a title shot because apparently this is the fight we want to see.
Dana, straight ahead. You know, like I said, Merab could have had his pick against any of these bantamweight contenders. So for you, why was this the fight that you felt should have been made?
This is the fight that people wanted to see.
This has been a pattern with Sean O'Malley. He beat Yan, well, debatably, and sat on the sidelines for a year to wait for a title shot against Aljo. He beat Sterling and sat out for 9 months and waited for the UFC to arrange a stupid rematch between him and Chito Vera. Then now, loses to Merab, and all he had to do was wait. Oh, and delete his social media, I guess. You almost want to cheer for Merab here. Yeah, this is what the UFC is doing to me. Anyway, about the matchup, I guess. We've seen Merab beat Sean before, and it wasn't pretty for O'Malley. Merab's style is built around relentless pressure, insane cardio, and crushing wrestling. He never lets his opponents settle, smothering them with pace and volume until they break down, and that fight was a textbook example. Merab controlled the octagon, dragged Sean down repeatedly, and neutralized his striking.
He went straight forward. He got hit, he got hurt, he got tired like everybody else that fought tonight, but he found a way to get O'Malley down, and when he got him there, he was very strong on top.
But Sean isn't just some flashy striker with no power. Despite not always deserving the hype, O'Malley is legitimately the only guy at 135 who can cleanly KO opponents, and he has the highlight reel to prove it. He's got crisp, creative striking, and that elusive style keeps opponent guessing. Remember in the 4th round last time? Sean hurt Merab with a kick to the body. It was one of the few moments where O'Malley showed he could hurt the champion, and that's a big factor here. If he can land shots like that consistently, Merab will have serious trouble.
I think Sean O'Malley is not only the best striker in the UFC right now. There's some competition to play, obviously Max Holloway, but I think he stands above everybody.
Merab is also nearly 35 years old now, and even machines slow down. Age hasn't been a concern for him yet, but we are talking about the lighter weight classes here. At 155 and below, fighters, even exceptional ones like Merab, can age overnight, and when you get old, stamina is the first thing to go. If Merab's cardio holds and he can keep the fight wrestling heavy, dragging Sean down, grinding him out, he's still the favorite.
Merab's unstoppable.
I love it.
And when he was carrying Henry Cejudo with his tongue out.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And he's like a
savage
baby.
moment.
But if Sean manages to keep it standing, uses his striking angles well, and lands those power shots, he could change the fight in an instant. So, yeah. We've seen this movie before, Merab Dvalishvili drowning Sean O'Malley in pressure and pace, but every fight is different. This time, there's certain danger in the air. Merab's older now. He's been through wars, and you have to wonder, how many more times can he show up on EPO, allegedly? How many more times can he make the octagon feel like a furnace without the heat eventually cooling? Sean O'Malley didn't earn this shot, not by merit, not by resume, but That doesn't change the fact that he is still very dangerous. He still has that freaky timing, that sniper-like precision, and the kind of power that doesn't belong in the bantamweight division. So here we are again. The machine versus the superstar, the grinder versus the flashy striker, the greatest bantamweight of all time versus a guy the UFC is desperately trying to make great. This isn't meritocracy, it's marketing. Another reminder that the UFC isn't the Ultimate Fighting Championship anymore, it's the ultimate fucking circus of what it used to be. But hey, if Sean O'Malley actually lands that knockout punch, which he very well can, all of this bitter, rage-filled rant, it'll disappear in a heartbeat, and we'll all be doing what we always do, talking about how crazy MMA is, how Merab was never really the GOAT, and that it was actually Sean O'Malley. Can Kayla Harrison finally deliver on years of hype and save a division that has been in constant freefall? Or will Julianna Peña, Chaos Queen and all, prove once again that stubbornness beats skill when it refuses to die? Can Sean O'Malley do what the UFC desperately wants him to do and knock out the machine? Or will Merab Dvalishvili once again drown him in pace, pressure, and pure spite? We don't have the card we wanted, but we've got stakes, we've got questions, and we may get violence.